Ladies and gentlemen, we are live. Thank you very much for joining us this edition of Leak Project. I have Oppenheimer Ranch Diamond, the legend, the Oppenheimer Ranch Project with us. And we're going to talk about the latest information with these mystery drones that have been spotted off and on over not only Nebraska, but also Colorado. Now, I just did a podcast on this and showed the general area where these supposed sightings have been taking place. They're supposed to be 6 foot wide as far as the wingspans. Are supposed to be black drones going in grid patterns. And we have a new document that Diamond found via Homeland Security that I would like to share with you guys. It's basically a briefing, Homeland Security and emergency management. So I first want to say Diamond has a completely different mindset than I do about this right now. And that might change. And I appreciate that. It's good to have friends and family that think different, because if we all thought the same, it would be pretty darn boring. And you may not ever get to what's going on. Oftentimes there's something in the middle. You know what I mean? So let's talk about it. This information, I'm going to pull this up real quick. And before I do, I just wanted to say, Diamond, have you got one of these yet, bro? One of these Patriot flashlights? These are so cool.
I got this Patriot solar bank. I don't have one of those. I have lots of flashlights.
Okay. Well, this thing is so cool. If you go to patriotflashlight.com, it's got a solar panel on the front. It's got a battery bank built into it, so you can plug your phone into it when your phone dies. It'll charge with the sun, or you can plug it in to the wall. It's got a glass breaker, a wire/rope cutter. It's extremely bright. It's got an alarm setting, a compass, and it's also got an alarm audible. So it's 9 in 1. 20% off if you use the code LEAK20. It's already discounted 50%. Go to patriotflashlight.com, use the code LEAK20, get an extra 20% off. Everybody needs at least one of these in their bug out bag, in their backpack, in their glove box. Get one. Patriotflashlight.com. Okay, that was a quick shameless plug.
It's the perfect tool if you're going to search for drones.
Perfect tool when you're going to look for drones. Now, let's look at the actual debriefing from the Division of Homeland Security here. This is the media release and the update to Colorado Department of Public Safety investigations into reports on suspicious drone activity. Talk to us about this, Diamond, because you've already read this like twice. You're muted.
Down there. Okay. So me being a skeptic. Now, when I first heard about this story, Rex, I was totally stoked and I thought something was going on, and something was going on in our neck of the woods. So I've been following it closely. We've been reporting on it on our channel. And then I found this document earlier this morning, which I shared with you. And I did a little research into this. You shared with me some drone footage that's a picture of a big drone. And I agree that it probably is. But that could be the drone footage of a big drone at night from anywhere in the world. You know, it could just be some file footage. Now, what I know about Lakewood, Colorado, and the police there is they're just as concerned as you and I were. And so they got involved in this Homeland Security investigation as early as November 23rd. They actually went out to each and every one of the people that are reporting on these drones, and not a single one of the stories were corroborated. That the people reporting that on these big drones were either seeing tiny drones that were their neighbors' drones, or they were actually just seeing like Jupiter, or Venus, or a commercial airplanes in some cases. So there, so far, in my eyes, as a skeptic, have been no confirmed cases of anyone actually seeing a 6-foot drone, which is why there's no reporter or investigator that can actually get a story on it, because there is no story. In my opinion, that's my current position.
And yeah, and I appreciate that. And I respect that. And I also would like to say that somebody sent me a link specific to a mainstream media outlet with the video footage that I watched on my phone. And then I took the screenshots of it with my phone and I showed those to you. And you and I talked about that. And we both agreed that that footage could be stock footage from somewhere else, or it could actually be the footage from the location. Now, the thing is, with the algorithms and searches so different now than it was 10 years ago, oftentimes if there's specific stories that let's just say those that love us so much don't necessarily want to get out to everybody, it's more difficult to find. Yeah, it's there, but you got to have either the exact link to get to it, or you've got to go through pages and pages to find it. So I looked at this story, and when we talked, I think it was yesterday, the day before, and we were looking at the locations of where these drones are supposedly flying over. They're flying over a lot of these missile silos, or close to these missile silos, these active missile silos, etc. East of Colorado Springs, east of the Warren Francis Air Force Base in Wyoming, and it's in these fields where there could be places we don't even know about with missiles underneath for homeland security reasons and national defense. So we're thinking maybe it's the military going out there and scanning the area to make sure there's no sleeper cells or activity that shouldn't be going on out there, just stuff that shouldn't be taking place, somebody trying to get into these. And then possibility of it being another country or another faction checking this area out, scoping the area to find out, if that's their plan or position based upon their orders, wherever they're from, so their recon per se. But now this information that comes out, it's like a whole new spin. It's like, oh yeah, we did the research. Don't worry about it. All these drones they're from other accounts. They're just people with recreational drones. They're planets. They're planes. Yeah. And okay, let's add to this. If that's the case, if that's the truth, then why was the media showing this area that is, if you're in the military, that's a very sensitive area. When I say sensitive, I mean, that's a very powerful area to have for our security because of all the missiles there. So I'm just, even Nebraska, it wasn't showing something over LA. It wasn't showing something over Chicago or a big city. It's showing this area that's in the middle of nowhere. And all you got out there is mostly what's out there is farmland and underground missiles. Your thoughts?
Well, it's a great idea and a great place to start a hoax about something covert happening along with our nation's infrastructure. So it could be misdirection and a hoax perpetrated by someone who has a media outlet in Colorado who now got lots of views. It could be that simple. And now discussing any of the scenarios that what these drones possibly could be, I believe, is a waste of time at this point, because what we're now at, about 90% sure that nobody has actually seen one of these drones. And let's get back to that media footage, Rex. When was the last time the media showed us a clip that wasn't real? I mean, let's get real there. Benghazi much? I mean, you could just, it's a game, and then they retract it, and then they all be quiet, and then it all goes away. So that still is a scenario that they're trying to crush something, which is why we're doing the video, because we need a credible person in Western Nebraska or Northeastern Colorado that has seen a 6-foot drone at sunset to invite us out to their place, set up an investigation, and get footage of this drone, because no one actually has footage of the drone that can be corroborated and proven. And according to Homeland Security and our government, there's nothing to see here. So if there is something to see here, Rex and I would love to see it. We'd love to film it. I have thermal imaging that can record. We can get the coverage. We just need someone to invite us out to their farm that has a drone there, and we'll be right out there ASAP. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I definitely want to get out there as soon as possible. And as the previous podcast, I said, anybody that's got land, you're in a house out there, you're seeing these drones, we want to be out there. But that's a good point. Here's another thing that I thought of, Diamond. This probably started from a real story. There were probably these drones flying in grid patterns. Somebody saw it, and then it spread. The original story could have been legit, and then the media just goes with it. And then everybody that sees a drone, they call in and they're like, "Hey, man, I see it." And it could just be like a regular Mavic or something like that, a Mavic Mini or a Mavic Pro. That's what I think. I think there's something to the original story, though.
Yeah, so the people that were launching the original drone launch, let's say, they got busted. And so they got cold feet and they pulled out. And it doesn't matter if you pull out, people are going to make stuff up moving forward. So the story stayed alive after the initial sightings. I can believe that because all the sightings after the initial sightings turn out to be false. So it could have been something, and that's why we're doing the podcast. Because they're going to continue to do it again. As soon as it all quiets down, those little drones are going to drop out of the sky and continue to do their thing again. And we want to be there to capture that when it happens.
Absolutely. And I mean, in closing, I think that pretty much says it all, man. This is a quick story. We need to get out there as soon as possible. I would like to actually even interview, if there's somebody that saw these 6-foot drones, call us, send us an email, leakproject@gmail.com. You can get a hold of Diamond from Oppenheimer Ranch Project as well. And both of us get a hold of both of us. Anything else you want to talk about before we close out, Diamond?
No, but this could be a learning experience for a lot of the extreme conspiracy theorists. You have to be able to change your mind based on new data. You can't be stuck in your paradigm. So when overwhelming data is coming out saying that, well, maybe 90% of all these reports are misidentifications or hoaxes, then you have to change your theory, which is what we're doing. Maybe the initial reports were correct. They pulled out and we need to get to the bottom of it. But what we do know, Rex, is that no one knows what is actually going on at all. And that is why we're doing this podcast.
Yeah. And just to finish it off, to add the organic cherry on top of the organic non-GMO sundae, this is absolutely, in my opinion, even bigger now because it's more of a mystery. So you could have had just a couple of sightings and then the media takes off with it. And then there's people in the media that spin the media to take people on these different directions. So this is very, very interesting. Very interesting. And we'll keep you updated on this, folks. There's definitely something here.
It could be a type of test, Rex. Like they know what's about to happen in the future, and they know that maybe they're about to roll out some kind of 6-foot drone AI across the country as part of Homeland Security. And so they do a little test in the most rural place in America to see what happens, to see if they get shot down, to see how people react. Similar to tests I think they've been doing over the last year and a half with food shortages in certain countries where they just cut off the supply for a day or two and see what happens and then turn it back on. So these might be tests about how we will react in the future to similar scenarios.
Yeah, future of drones. Almost everywhere you go, different layers of drones. They'll be dropping off food. They'll be dropping off your latest electronics device that you have to plug into your forehead because you're now assimilated with the machine because you love it so much and they love you so much. And folks, on that note, be excellent to each other and be the change you want to see. Cheers, Diamond. The legend continues.
Cheers.